love this freaking movie, okay? Welcome back to Everybody's Movie Ever. My name is Justin, watching Everybody's Movie Ever. Today I'm going to be talking about The Good Dinosaur. The Good Dinosaur is a 2015 theatrical release about a young dinosaur named Arlo ending up far from home with a human companion and their adventure to get back to Arlo's home. It's directed by Peter Sohn. Supervising and directing animators include Michael Venturini, Shaun, Chacko, Travis Hathaway, and Duquette Thompson. It's edited by Stephen Schaffer, music by Michael Dana and Jeff Dana, and it's written by Meg LeFauve. The film stars Raymond Ochoa as Arlo, Jack Bright as Spot, Jeffrey Wright as Papa, Frances McDormand as Mama, and Steve Zahn as Thunderclap. In 2009, Bob Peterson started thinking about how we view dinosaurs today. In 2011, Disney announced there would be a Pixar film released in 2013. Also in 2011, it became titled the Untitled Pixar movie about dinosaurs. In April of 2012, it was named The Good Dinosaur, and it was also all about, time to see a movie from the perspective of the dinosaur, get to know the dinosaur a little bit. Also in 2012, it was pushed to 2014, so Frozen could come out in 2013. In 2013, Bob Peterson got removed from the project because he could not figure out some third act issues. In September 2013, it was pushed back to November 2015 because the story wasn't working. In November of 2013, Pixar laid off 67 employees of their 1,200. Then in August of 2014, Lithgow, who was originally supposed to play Papa, said the film was being dismantled and reimagined, and he had to go in and re-record some lines. And then in October of 2014, Sohn had become the new director and was reworking and adding stuff to the story. In June of 2015 is when a majority of the cast got recast. I believe the only person to stay was Frances McDormand. I could be totally wrong, though. I have no idea. Filmmakers wanted, nature to be the main antagonist of the story because nature can overcome anything, even a dinosaur, quote unquote. And then film team spent time in Jackson Hole and Ventura and southern Montana to get an idea of the land. The film had vast landscapes, which gave Peter Sohn the ability to shoot in any direction, basically. They also created volumetric clouds, which would be a first for Pixar because normally they just painted on the clouds in a Pixar movie, but they used volumetric clouds that could move and change and were volumetric. Animators went to the zoo to study elephants to really get down what Arlo and his family's movements would be, a dinosaur's movements would be. They wanted the audience to see the boy behind the dinosaur, right? They also wanted to evolve the dinosaurs a bit because this is all the very opening of the film is the asteroid missing the Earth and the dinosaurs stay, right? So it's how would the dinosaurs have evolved, and then when humans start to come around, what would happen? And so they basically thought it'd be fun to have omnivore dinosaurs become farmers, carnivore dinosaurs become ranchers, etc. So that's the kind of twist they did. This had a $175 to $200 million budget and only made $332.2 million in the box office. It was, in fact, considered a box office bomb or flop. It has a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes consensus. The Good Dinosaur delivers thrillingly beautiful animation in service of a worthy story that, even if it doesn't quite live up to the lofty standards set by Pixar, still adds up to charming, family-friendly entertainment. This is absolutely breathtaking, and I know it says thrillingly beautiful animation or whatever in the consensus, but this might be the best looking Pixar movie. I know that is a tall order, right? But I mean that in the landscapes are so realistic and so stunning, it's hard to ignore. I have multiple moments in this movie that I just geek out about the animation. When Arlo is waking up after being, dragged down in the river, far from home, and you can see the rocks through the crystal clear water, and you can see every scale on Arlo and all his bruises, and it's absolutely insane. Not to mention the landscapes. The landscapes are obviously stunning, but what they do just with the crystal clarity. I don't know how to explain it. It just does something for my eyeballs that is so absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. His skin, the bleeding, the scratches, the bruises, the water, the landscape, the lighting, the lightning, like I just can't. The firefly scene is stunning. It's just like the best thing in this movie is the visuals, but everything else is also good. But the best thing in this movie is how pretty it is. It is drop dead gorgeous. The movie flies. Absolutely no fat on it. It's like an hour and a half. Like, that's a dream. We love to see it. I know it might be a critique now because it's so simple of a story, but it's effective. The music in this, it's the biggest reason I cry. It has a chokehold over my life. Orphans and Goodbye Spot off the score. Goodbye. I am deceased. Absolutely destroyed. Sharks in the Sky, or Sky Sharks, or whatever the name of that track is, and also the song that plays when the Rustlers are coming, are also both very good. The entire score is great. They went for a huge Western theme, which is fun. It's got like that farm, Western-y feel, which is great. But in other like score moments, it like transcends that and is very beautiful. Like it adds so much to the movie for me. I would cry during the orphan scene and the Goodbye Spot scene, probably no matter what, but the music is just like, it gives you that push, and not in like a too pushy, this is how you're supposed to be feeling way, in like a, let me envelop you as you fall into feeling this emotion. It is so perfect. It's the main reason I cry. The song that plays during the flashback and PTSD scene for Arlo is also so good. And I just love this movie so much. I think it's truly, truly excellent. Music-wise. Like, visuals, 100%, but next for me is music. I have literally never understood the hate this gets. I feel like because it didn't perform well in the box office, which I'm pretty sure it was up against like a lot around that Thanksgiving time, which made it brutal. But I will never understand. I'll never forget that this was the first year that Pixar released 2 movies in the same year, because they did Inside Out and then they did this. And I will never forget saying to my brother, like, Disney movies are just like, they're in a different era now because every single one is destroying me. We went Frozen. And then, we go Inside Out, Good Dinosaur. Like, they're just destroying me left and right. And then after this, we're gonna, we got Big Hero 6. We already did. Also destroys me. And then we have Wreck-It Ralph made me cry. We've got, well, maybe not for you, but in the theater, I definitely cried for Wreck-It Ralph. But truly. And then we'll have Coco. Are we kidding? Like, Coco's coming up soonish. It's kind of, we're in 2015, so 2 years, but still brutal. No matter what, I will never, ever, ever understand the hate this gets. It's like the black sheep of the Pixar universe. I don't understand why people don't like this movie, because I love this movie. I adore it with my entire being. I don't care that it's simple. It is so effective and so good. And I actually just saw a thing that was someone talking about how when we were kids, there were stories of kids who went on fun adventures and ended up being special because they found something. They found a book that gave them powers, or, they happened upon the right stone in whatever situation, and then it changed and became, you were born with it and you just don't know it yet. You were born with it and you just don't know it yet. And that has become like kind of the blueprint. And they were talking about how they're tired of that because it's like creating this like mentality in our society that everyone is like, we're born with something special, which, like, not to say we aren't all born with something special, but like we're all waiting for it to show, instead of like putting in work and just being a normal person that happens upon something cool or whatever. And I was thinking about that and thinking about this because there isn't anything that makes Arlo like uniquely special. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have magic powers. He doesn't have super strength. You know, he's not a superhero. He's not Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like, or Harry Potter. Like, he's not someone that has something that makes him special other than he's a normal kid who is very afraid and gets through his fear, and that I think is so important to show in media for children and not do, like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, like, Harry Potter is one of my favorite things of all freaking time, obviously, but I think there's this level of, that person might have been right, like, everything we're watching now is all about, like, kids who were born with something that made them special and they just don't know it yet, instead of being like, hey, I happened upon this cool book that gave me magic powers. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like that kind of thing. But anyway, it made me think about this and how Arlo doesn't have magic powers that he doesn't know about. You know, he's the runt of his family. He's very scared. And that is something I can relate to very deeply. And so Arlo's this kid that is just afraid and is pushed so severely out of his comfort zone and is just trying to get back home to his mom and his siblings. And he grows so much having to go through some tough life stuff, which is what life is actually like about, you know? Is we all get stronger and get through fears after we do them or facing them or whatever it might be, and the whole get through your fear sentiment is beautiful. You know, the friends Arlo makes, the enemies Arlo makes, the stuff they deal with in their environment, and how he has an unlikely friend and the person he originally blames for his dad's death. Like, it's all so good and meaningful, and I think important stories to tell. Like, I know a lot of people compare it to Lion King, I think. Like, they were just trying to make Lion King. I think they do that because Papa dies in, like, an accident type situation. But I don't really think it's, like, I see the similarities, but, like, there's no evil villain trying to take over where Arlo lives. Like, his dad died in a genuine accident. And he's just trying to get home. Like, he didn't run away from home to stay away from home. He's trying to get home the whole time, and unlikely friend and a human and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. And then their relationship is so good, you know, and everything they can do without dialogue. Like, obviously WALL-E is the peak of what they're able to do visually without dialogue, but this movie does a lot of things by showing you instead of telling you, because Spot and Arlo can't communicate. They don't speak the same language. So I obviously have a lot of scenes that show this. Spot trying to figure out what Arlo eats, like him trying to feed him, is such like a beautiful scene. How sweet. Where he brings him the lizard and he won't eat the lizard, and then he brings him the bug and he won't eat the bug, and then he finally figures out, you know, he brings him berries, and Arlo is a herbivore, so like he won't eat meat or bugs. He eats leaves and vegetables and fruit, and so, you know, Spot figures that out and brings it to him and helps him with that. And then, like, the orphan scene is one of my favorite examples of this, because they are able to communicate to each other without words. Their families and who has passed. And freaking I'm gonna get emotional because I love this movie so much. But it is a beautiful scene that I just, like, it shows the beauty of an understanding that, like, we all experience loss and we all experience all of these emotions. You know what I mean? Like, we all laugh, we all cry, we all share love and heartbreak and anger, and, like, we all share that. And it's a beautiful moment between these two creatures that don't speak the same language and that are becoming fast friends, saying, you know, I understand what you're saying. Like, I've lost my parents too. And it's a beautiful scene without a lot of words. All the words are Arlo saying, me, Libby, Buck, Mama, and Papa. And then Spot, like, mimics it, and, you know, Arlo's like, yeah, that's your family. And then Spot pushes his parents' sticks down and covers them. So then Arlo does the same, and it's just, oh my god, it's a beautiful scene. It's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, for sure. And it's just a testament to what can be shown visually without needing to say it. You know what I mean? Sorry to stand on my soapbox about that. And then on the flip side, you have Arlo meeting the T-Rexes, who are very friendly. And, Nash, is it Nash? No, Nash is the other one. Whatever, Sam Elliott's character tells the story about how a croc bit him in the face. He says, it was 100 degrees in the shade. It takes me out every time, because you know how people always exaggerate their stories, and they, you know, say all these things to make it sound cooler, and starting with, it was 100 degrees in the shade, it made me giggle, because that would be exactly how that would go. I adore this movie. I think it is so good. I think Spot and Arlo's relationship throughout it and what they go through is great. And at the end, when Arlo, like, pushes Spot to go with the people because they're of his own kind and he could have a family again with people who are like him, it's obviously a heart-shattering. It's like, you know, in all the movies when they give up the wild animal, like, you know, I can't keep the whale, I have to put the whale back in the ocean, or I can't keep the wolf, I have to give the wolf back to its family. You know, all the ones where it's like, go be with your own kind. It's always heartbreaking, but it's the right thing to do. And they're like, goodbye. Like, that scene is done without words. Like, Arlo pushes Spot closer to the people, and Spot starts to understand what Arlo's doing, and is like, no, wait, no, I don't want to leave you. And Arlo, like, puts him with them and does the circle, like they did earlier, like a callback to the orphan scene, saying, like, this is your new family, and then it clicks for Spot, and he's like, okay, and they say bye, and it's so beautiful, and I love this movie so much. It's just really beautiful, and, I love it. I watched this movie also, like, a month ago. This is probably the closest I've watched a movie, like, for enjoyment by myself, on my own, and then watch it again for the project. I've been semi-close before, but, like, I just watched this movie at the end of December, so it was very close. I just love this movie so much, and, I think it gets a lot of hate for no reason. Period. Raymond Ochoa, who plays Arlo, I don't think gets enough credit for this movie. His performance is funny, heartbreaking, honestly so impressive what he was able to do. Just the fact, like, when he tries to scream for the rustlers, but he's too scared, so he's going, ah! Like, that's so funny. On the flip side, you know, his fear and his, like, laughter and his, like, intimidation, but not intimidation, and his sadness. Like, it's all so well done, and I cannot applaud Raymond enough because he carries the movie. Everyone else is a side character. And Spot doesn't actually speak words. So, you know, Raymond carried this movie, and I think he did a very good job. I think my favorite part and my least favorite part are the same part. I think it's the goodbye Spot scene. It's my favorite part because it is beautiful and the right thing to do, and it's my least favorite part because it means they're separated, and I love that. And, recommend, of course, if you couldn't tell by the crying. Watch again. I mean, like I said, I watched it like a month ago for me. You're seeing this in March. It is February 18th for me. If you saw this in theaters and you felt a certain way about it and you haven't seen it since, I highly encourage you to watch it again and give it another chance. It's a great movie. Specific moments, I mentioned I can relate to Arlo. So I think that's probably a big reason that I love this movie so much is when I was a kid, I was a very scared kid. My parents got divorced when I was 5, and I could not spend the night at my dad's house without my mom. And that was the house, like, I was born in. So, like, my mom lived in the new house. And, like, I would have to call my mom for her to come get me. And then anytime I tried to do a sleepover with friends, I'd have to call my mom to come get me in the middle of the night because I was way too scared. I couldn't do it. You know, I was a very scared kid, but I was, like, almost more scared to, like, be judged for my fears, so I'd push myself through it. And that has definitely led to, don't get me wrong, I definitely still have, like, a bunch of fear, but I have had so many beautiful life experiences because I've been able to push through that fear. So I relate to Arlo so much because of him starting out so fearful. Because I relate. I get it. I had an alcoholic dad, and my parents were divorced, and I didn't like spending the night other places than with my mom. And, you know, I was scared to do anything outside of my comfort zone. And then, you know, I go to film school. I live in California for 2.5 years. You know, I was in theater and putting myself on stage, and I pushed through so many fear things. You know, the most recent thing I can think of is actually when I started dating Aubrey. That was a big fear for me because it's my first relationship ever, really. And I was having panic attack upon panic attack upon panic attack right at the beginning because I was so afraid of everything. And I, like, you know, pushed through. I worked through my fears, and I'm so grateful I did. But it's, you know, I think everyone can relate to being scared. I mean, who can't, right? But yeah, okay. That was a long tangent. That's it. That's everything for the Good Dinosaur. If you couldn't tell, my final rating is 10. I don't know. I want to say dinosaurs, but I've definitely done that before. 10 cave children out of 10. Our total movie count is. Our parent death toll is. Our cry count is. If you want to keep up with what movie I'm watching when, follow me on all socials. You'll find out what movie I'm watching when. I put out videos every Monday and Friday and sometimes Wednesday. Join Patreon. I got a tier starting at just $1. You get every video a week early. Tiers above that, I got you daily trivia. You get monthly postcard. You get bonus content. All that good stuff. You get your name in the description of every video. Go check it out. Buy merch. Merch is great. Merch is grand. Until next time, come like, subscribe, I'm not in charge of your life. You are a studio, and don't be thunderclap about it. The storm provides.